The Chief Cornerstone. Chinedu was a ghost in his own village. He lived in the shadow of a crumbling hut, a forgotten orphan whose parents had been lost to a sickness that swept through the land. The villagers, his own kinsmen, saw him not as a boy, but as a curse, a living reminder of a tragedy they wished to forget. They spoke in whispers, their eyes cold and their doors shut to him. The day of the yam harvest festival was the worst. Chinedu, driven by a desperate hope for inclusion, approached the village square where the feasting had begun. As he took a hesitant step forward, an elder, a man who had once been his father's friend, pointed a gnarled finger at him. "Do not let the shadow of misfortune fall upon our celebration," the elder boomed. The crowd parted, and Chinedu was left standing alone, shamed and chased away by the very people he called family. He found solace by the river, its constant flow a stark contrast to the stagnant hatred in the village. He sat on the bank, his knees pulled to his chest, the weight of his loneliness, a physical ache. The setting sun painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, but Chinedu saw only the darkness closing in. He felt abandoned by everyone and everything, a solitary vessel adrift in a sea of despair. Just as the last light faded, a sleek black car rumbled down the dusty road and stopped at the edge of the village. From it emerged a man of immense presence, Chief Obina. He was a billionaire philanthropist, known for his quiet wisdom and his knack for seeing potential where others saw none. He observed the village from a distance, and his gaze fell upon the solitary figure by the river. Chief Obina walked with purpose towards the riverbank. Chinedu, startled by the approaching figure, looked up with wary eyes. The man did not speak of pity or charity. Instead, he spoke of a journey, of a chance to build a life far from the shadows of the past. He extended a hand, not for a handout, but for a partnership. "Your spirit," Chief Obina said, "is a seed that needs fertile ground to grow. I can offer you that ground." The villagers watched, stunned, as Chinedu, with a small, worn bag in his hand, got into the back of the luxurious car. The whispers that had once condemned him now turned to confused murmurs. The car pulled away, leaving behind a cloud of dust and a village that had just witnessed a silent, profound departure. They had cast him out, and now he was leaving, not in defeat, but in the embrace of a destiny they could not comprehend. Years passed. Chinedu's world expanded from the confines of a small hut to the vastness of a library filled with knowledge. Under Chief Obina's mentorship, he devoured books, learned the intricacies of business, and honed his mind. He was no longer the boy who had been chased away, but a young man of purpose and intellect, his spirit now fully blossomed. The day of his return was an event. The same dusty road that had seen his departure now welcomed a man in a sharp, tailored suit. The villagers, older and more worn, stared in disbelief. The boy they had rejected had returned a man of stature, his presence commanding the very respect they had once denied him. The kinsmen, the very people who had once pointed fingers and slammed doors, now rushed forward with outstretched arms and false smiles. "Our son has returned," one of them exclaimed, his voice dripping with insincerity. Chinedu listened, his expression polite but firm. He did not forget the past, but he also did not let it define his future. Chinedu stood before them all, not as a son seeking acceptance, but as a leader with a vision. "I have not come to be a cornerstone for you," he announced, his voice clear and strong. "I have come to be a cornerstone for this community." He unrolled a blueprint, revealing a plan for a state-of-the-art community center, a place for learning, for health, and for unity. The new building rose from the ground where his crumbling hut once stood. It was a beacon of hope, a testament to his resilience. At the grand opening, Chinedu stood beside Chief Obina, a picture of dignity and success. "The stone the builders rejected," Chinedu said, his voice filled with emotion, "has become the chief cornerstone. Chinedu, the once rejected orphan, was now the heart of the village. The children ran freely in the new community center, and the elders sought his wisdom. He had not just built a building, he had rebuilt a community, proving that a man's worth is not in his beginnings, but in the strength of his spirit and the kindness he shows to others.